you tweeted this out, and it's really interesting. So Cavs 8-0 for only the second time ever, first time since the 76-77 season. And you also kind of wrote an article that I want you to talk a little bit about on HoopsWire. Last couple of games, they've had to give everything at the end of the game to come away with those 2 wins.
Yeah, and that's part of playing 8 games in 13 days. Really, the Cavs are one of the few teams in the league that have played 8 games. And some have just played 6, some have just played 7. But they've played 8 and 13, and eventually you're going to go through a stretch where you don't have as many games in as many days. But that's been part of what's been impressive. But I think we saw in Milwaukee on Saturday night, the Cavs got down by 16 points. It's 33-17 at one point, and battled back and just kind of found an extra gear some way somehow. And then against Milwaukee, they built a 19-point lead in Cleveland and then blew that lead. And we're down, I think, 7 with like under 6 minutes to go. And I just thought, man, they just look like they've run out of gas. And somehow, some way, found a way to scrap back in that. But their legs, they look tired. They look worn out. They had just played a close game in Milwaukee. Credit to the Bucks. They did the same thing, and they had to come to Cleveland without Giannis Antetokounmpo in the lineup. So Kenny Atkinson, after the game, called it a mental fortitude win for the Cavs because, he said when things were going awry, what did you do to try to, stop that bleeding? And he said, we were trying everything. We were trying everything. And eventually, as the coach, all you can do is just sit there and hope that it works. You can't do anything more than that. And he's like, man, I was just watching at one point, and thankfully the shots started dropping. Darius Garland really took over, and they were able to fight through that.
Yeah, and those type of games, you want to call them mental fortitude, mentally, whatever you want to call them. Those are the type of games good teams win. When teams are winning
Yeah.
those kind of games, they usually go into the playoffs and do well in playoff basketball.